Hello, everyone. This is GetSelious, and with SithScott again, we're bound with news roundup number 3. We have a list of interesting topics to go over, and the game you see on screen is Vampire Savers. The game is under $5 and early access on Steam. If you're interested, check it out. If not, listen to our dulcet tones to give you the sweet, sweet news with our amazing background music.
And has a cool title screen.
That's true. So, Scott, lay it on us. What is the news for today?
I guess the first thing to talk about is more of fighting game news, but Guilty Gear Strive showed one of their newer characters that are coming out called Baiken.
Ah, yes, Baiken comes back from a long-standing Guilty Gear character. Baiken's playstyle looks completely different in this game than compared to other games. This game, I would say different. It's more like a room for a change. Baiken is known for using alpha counters and guard point counters to just frustrate the opponent with her overwhelming defense and offense. Now she only has one counter. Her command claw attack doesn't have multiple as follow-ups like it did in Exerd, and now just tethers the opponent close to her, making her close range much more deadly and insane mix-up potential. And the rope apparently gets stronger as time goes on, then breaks away. She does have her signature tatami super, and her signature tatami super, and her signature triple slash super, which is quarter circle forward S twice. One new special she gained is the gun, which is quarter circle back P, which can be done in the air on the ground. And in combos, can be used for projectile mix-up. Pretty interesting. She's simplified now since she only has, I believe, 4 or 5 moves, but I'm excited to see what it can go. Because again, she was a highly defensive, very defensive and aggressive character. She would flip the tables on you per se how she fights. So now she's a little more streamlined. I wonder how it will improve the game.
I think the design they chose looks pretty cool for her as well.
Yeah, she got her boobas get bigger every game, so that way she has massive boing boings. Like if you look at her art style in Guilty Gear X, then Guilty Gear XX, and then Xrd, and now Strive, is getting bigger per game, and so is her hair. She's got like almost Neko hair. Her hair's more and more wild.
Pretty soon they're gonna have to include her into like a Dead or Alive game.
Yeah, at some point, it's crazy. Though there are some contentions, people worried about she's too simplified, or it doesn't, because again, a lot of her core mechanics of prior games I mentioned was based around her counter, where she would block and then has 4 counters depending on the button you press. She would have a dash counter, which will dash through you. She has a slash counter, she'll have a heavy slash counter, and a punch counter for anti-airs depending on the game. In Exerd, they built upon that counter system, but you could only able to do the counter if you press the stance, which was slash and heavy slash, or you press slash heavy slash on the ground or slash heavy slash in the air. In the older Guilty Gear games, particularly Reload and the older Guilty Gear games plus Accent Core and Accent Core plus R, you were able to do the counter using command button, which is half circle back kick, or you also able to do it by blocking and doing quarter circle back while blocking. It's a little tricky to do it that way. Exerd did remove the quarter circle back block by adding the stance into it. It's like I said, she's a very interesting defensive character. Scott is see me rambling on about it. I was not a main of her. I would suffer occasionally. My main is Axel Low, my filthy Axel main, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how she would play this game. I'm really interested to see how this tether mechanic works and how it's increasing it. The video did show amazing combos of like doing pop-ups with the tatami into other things with it.
Yeah, it did look like she could add combos pretty easily with that.
Yeah, and apparently there's a difference between the versions of her claw. The heavy slash claw version allows you to do a follow with slash through, and that's it. The slash version is the claw that gives you the tether, I believe. I could be always wrong about that, but yeah, I'm super excited. It's super cool.
That is pretty cool. I'm
not
a big connoisseur of the Guilty Gear franchise. I mean, I'm a casual that just plays DBZ fighters all the time.
I would recommend Strive. Strive is really easy to get into. I think also the thing I also like about it too is that the Baiken will be playable on January 28th, 2022. So if you have put the season pass, if you haven't, you have to wait till the 31st. I believe the 30th, the end of the month, I believe.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, next on our list is the Dark Souls servers apparently got shut down because someone tried to talk to Bandai and FromSoft about a server discrepancy about a vulnerability they had. And they didn't listen until someone actually tried to utilize that vulnerability and it actually crashed it. So they decided to take down the entire server so they could get it fixed before putting it back up. And it's still down as far as I can see. They said that they'll come up eventually, but they want to have it perfectly flawless.
Wow.
Some people are being angry because, some people like doing the Dark Souls servers a lot.
Well, yeah, PvP and trolling was the whole point. Now you have to play the game like a normal person. How dare you,
Yeah,
or you don't have to
using the helpful community that wants to help.
True. I think that it being shut down is fine. These things happen. I think that they've always kind of had somewhat of a server problem over the years, but I've always felt like, when it comes to like Dark Souls, it's always been like, you don't, multiplayer is like an added layer, like it adds more sauce to the game, but you never really needed it,
Yeah, makes sense.
But then
some people might absolutely need it because they're bad at the game, or not as good as say the elitists are.
Yeah. They get good, bros.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's also interesting too is that because the multiplayer took a life on its own, there's so many like weapons and troll videos of beating people online, the PvP aspect. It's like a second game itself. I wouldn't be surprised if
100%.
I wouldn't be surprised in the future that software makes a full-on PvP Souls game. I know other people attempted to do so, and each of them have their own take on it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they jump on that wagon right now.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I'm not the biggest player of Dark Souls. I've played Bloodborne a few times here and there. I think I like that a little better just because you get, I don't know, it seems a little more streamlined because it has like specific locations you need to go, whereas Dark Souls is more of a little free form of do this, go here, and then it gives you options of what else you can do.
Right. I think Bloodborne's the easiest of the series. One of my personal favorites. I did like Sekiro, and I did like Dark Souls 3 a lot. But those games, I always felt like I wasn't a fan of some of the. I love Dark Souls like no hit runs, no death runs. Speedrun Dark Souls are pretty interesting. My only complaint about Dark Souls is like from a community aspect, the whole get good mentality, and I can go into like game design, etc. about it. Basically,
yeah, the gatekeepers are kind of bad.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can't get good, you can't play the game. It's like, okay, but then why would you limit people playing the game that you liked?
Right, as well as like, first of all, let's be honest here, honey. I'm gonna be pleased about this. The only reason why you got good at the game is you most likely learned an exploit that you think you learned yourself. Come on, you use YouTube like the rest of us did. Come on.
Everyone uses YouTube. Some people just are better at using it than others.
Exactly. Or use some social media. Don't lie to me. Secondly, a lot of Dark Souls difficult designs is just some of it is really awkward and bad game control design. No other game plays like this on purpose because it's awkward. So if Dark Souls wasn't like this, I don't think it would be as etc. That's a whole different argument. But anyway,
yeah, it's similar to the whole Resident Evil janky tank controls back when the first 3 came out.
Exactly.
They finally kind of changed on 4. But
yeah,
I mean, it was kind of its own aesthetic of the game is the controls.
True.
Which I think is another aspect of why Dark Souls is so good, is because they utilize those controls as its difficulty.
That's true. But it works well, but I've always felt like a lot of difficulty comes from like controls as well as like I said, I think Dark Souls is a solid game, but I just don't like the community aspect of it. If you try to argue with like game design, I think they just lose their heads off it because it's like, well, you're not good, you're just a hero.
It's the perfect game out there.
No, the perfect game already exists. It's called Super Auto Pets. You played it last week. Come on.
Alright, speaking of perfect games, Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise launched a new trailer today. That was, I like to just say that I think Square is going full in on the we're trying to make this game so bad it's good aspect. Because some of the dialogue and the pacing and just like the moments are just so like, why? Like in one of the most recent, like one of the scenes in the new trailer is the guy showing up to a wedding, the main guy, Jack I think his name is, and he's just on his phone the whole time, and you're just like, Really? Okay.
Very edgy. 10 stars will play again, you know? I'm looking forward to the game as just because what it is a meme. I don't really I don't care about his combat mechanics. It's just insane. I love the earlier trailer. I think it was sometime last year, where it was like, I couldn't stop it because the light in my heart, and he just bullshit and just played random freaking Limp Bizkit. That was just great.
Oh, yeah, he plays the Frank Sinatra "My Way" at the end when he's just walking sadly in a like wild grass area.
Oh my lord!
It's just this is so bad but perfect at the same time. This is gonna be one of those things that I'm gonna just look on the Facebook pages of every frame of Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise, just to dissect every single thing in dialogue.
I wanna see people take it too seriously, and I will start laughing.
I mean, they did kind of joke because this is supposed to be kind of like a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course. That's...
But it's just I feel like, yes, the dialogue in Final Fantasy 1 does not age well, but it's not this bad.
It's the art, my friend. We're doing it for the art.
But yeah, I mean, I remember playing the demo and actually being surprised that it played as well as it did. Even if, everything else was kind of absurd. Except for they actually give you really decent customization options with weapons and armor and stuff, which was was weird. But hey, if they make the game fun to play as well as just fun to watch, it's not good, but it's fun.
Yeah, that's one way. That's the way I would look at it.
And I think that's the better aspect of when something's not good. I'd rather have it being fun to play and fun to watch rather than just being a slog to get through.
Yeah, it's being dumb. Sometimes a stupid, dumb action game is the way to go. I can't deny
exactly.
it.
That's why I play Dynasty Warriors so much.
Well, Dynasty Warriors had a story.
I don't know it's a good... I mean, the story itself is based off of one of the biggest, novels in China. But I don't think nearly any of the stuff that happens in the game happened in the book.
Nope, no, not as much. But yeah, you get to learn some cool history, that's all I can say.
And then you get to learn, new ways to pronounce Zhuge Liang over and over again, because every game has it pronounced differently.
From my Lord and Master.
Alrighty, so I guess another bigger thing is Blizzard Activision announced a new IP that they're working on, which is going to be an adventure survival game. And they didn't give any specifics of whether it was going to be on only Xbox or not, but I think that was because they did it as a we don't know what's going on in the next 2 years kind of deal.
It's more like, hey, let's create some good buzz about our our company changing or whatever. I'm like, cool, new IP for a genre that's kind of, the survival genre is a bit oversaturated, but whatever.
Yeah, it pretty much is. I don't play a lot of the adventure survivals unless I play I think it's called The Forest. I'll play it every now and then.
Yeah.
Only when people want me to.
I think it was more of a safe face announcement to show how good we are at things in the past, but at the same time here's the thing. Are you guys what about any updates for that Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4, those games?
Overwatch 2, it exists? I thought that was just a myth.
Yeah, Diablo 4 anytime. I don't want to,
they're gonna push the mobile Diablo first before they do that.
Don't you have phones? Don't we have phones?
I don't know. Do I have a phone? I don't know. Sometimes I have a phone and sometimes I forget I do.
It's so bad. Oh man, I think that it was just it was a power move. I don't know. The thing is it depends though. If more information comes out, the date of it, then it depends on the project lead before that. Remember when Microsoft, when they bought Bethesda, Deathloop, as I think I mentioned before, was still listed to come from multiple platforms.
Yep.
So
still at the timed exclusively deal, which it still oddly enough does. People on Xbox don't see it for another year or so.
Yeah. Plus, too, at that point, like I said, I think the survival genre is a bit oversaturated. You got Ark, you got some other survival games, you got Frostbite. It's a lot of them. I feel and it's a very particular genre who want to play those type of games, and I think it's a hard nut to crack into. So, and plus you're Blizzard, so plus ratio, plus your company's failing. close
Yeah,
ratio.
I remember seeing some tweets about how ironic it was that they're doing a survival game now that they're surviving Blizzard itself.
Yeah, and like I said, I personally will be more interested to see them committing to their other projects, or and I do mean this politely. Again, Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, making more announcements, maybe fixing that garbage fiesta of Warcraft Reforged. I think
Ugh.
exactly,
Just kill Warcraft Reforged.
exactly. I would be more
Old
interested.
Warcraft 3 was better.
Exactly, but you can't get it no more unless you get a ROM, whatever version of it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
unless you get a pirated copy, which is ironic. We're
exactly.
going to be talking about game preservation by getting rid of the old game to only play the new game.
Yeah,
GTA tried
Jesus.
the same thing until they realized that the old game was still better.
Exactly. Like I said, I would be more impressed if they talk about like restoring some of the legacy projects and things to get back. Like there are still people who to this day who like Heroes of the Storm, things like that, bring the consoles. I'm more interested in seeing what Blizzard would do to maintain their legacy than seeing Blizzard like, oh look at my new IPs and things I can do. I'm like, dude, you already your plate's already full, very full.
Yeah, that does make me wonder how many other projects they already have in the backlog that they're not necessarily working on but want to or do have
Yeah,
ideas for.
exactly.
Because they haven't really showed too much of Overwatch 2 since the last reveal, which was like not till like after Jeff Kaplan actually left.
And what makes it super bad too is like not a lot of people playing it. Overwatch is kind of in like Overwatch 1, the main game is kind of in maintenance mode, so there isn't any much content or just repeats of etc. content from their previous
Yeah, it's
games.
just new skins. There's no game modes.
Exactly.
Kind of sad.
Yeah. So I feel like they are in this very, very bad position where they're like, well, we need more. We're working on this other content we promise you, but it's such in the dark. It makes me like, I don't know, will it ever exist? Are we even real?
Do we trust what it will be?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the thing.
Yeah.
Alright, and the last thing is Respawn Entertainment has been confirming to be working on, well, 2 Star Wars IPs and is producing a third one alongside the other Respawn's entertainment studio, Bitbot. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm really actually excited for at least one of those 3, other than the Jedi Fallen Order sequel. They're actually going to be making an RTS for PC, which is not something I've seen on Star Wars since the Empire at War game.
Interesting. I was never really an RTS person, but Fallen Order was a really fun game. I wonder what does that mean for Respawn? Does that mean they'll stop supporting will the Titanfall series still being Respawn, or?
I don't know. It's interesting because they said that the first game that Respawn itself is working on will be the sequel, and the second game Respawn itself is working on is going to be an FPS shooter. Interestingly enough, I looked up at some of the teams that they have, and it's interesting that the team they have on the FPS side is the team that worked on the old Medal of Honor series. If you remember that.
That's yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see where that's going to go. And the team they have on the RTS side is the team who worked on Civilization from Fire Access Studios back in the old days of yore.
That's pretty interesting. I guess that's pretty good management, honestly. See what they got on it. I'm more interested to see what happens in the trailer. The funny thing is, Fallen Order was probably the only Souls-like game I could recommend to people. The production of that game was insane. You got the guy from Shameless and Gotham on there. The story was really well done. The gameplay was smooth. It wasn't the AI. That's not the AI. The UI wasn't that jarring. It's definitely, like I said, if anyone's looking for a Souls game and also like Star Wars, please try that out. I recommend it. It's not that difficult, but it actually makes sense.
Well, not just that, they also have like a lot of difficulty options too for Fallen Order. So if you are not good at Souls games, you can turn it on like easy or normal mode rather than hard or extra hard or nightmare modes that everyone who are elitists will try.
Yeah. It's a good experience. That's the way I feel about it. There's nothing I would recommend dismiss it.
Yeah. Plus, if you do what I did, you can get the double blade lightsaber after like the first world.
That's true. But I do feel like though one of my things that I feel like parry is super busted in that game. So many things to do parry. Parry lasers, parry attack, parry armor attacks. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really good if you can get your timing down, especially on like the bigger creatures.
Yeah. And man, I guess that covers for all the news we have this week. Is there any more things interesting that happened this week?
Not that I've written down.
Yeah. Well, that's all.
If there is anything, then that someone can just post it in the comments below if there's anything that we should have covered that we didn't.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And I guess I'll put it politely. If you guys, thanks again for checking out News Round Number 3 with myself, GetSelious SithScott. If you like the content, please give the video a like, share it with your friends, hit the bell as well, and remember to subscribe to the channel. Without you helping us, we'll make more content the way you like it, and we'll open the feedback. This is GetSelious signing out with SithScott, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya!